If you're wanting to take your players to the Feywild, this chapter might be for you. This is a DM prep video so that you can use this as a refresher once you've skimmed through the module. The main thrust is that a necklace is being shown off by an elf ex-adventurer called Lady Zohana Adulaire during the winter solstice gala that she puts on, where a fae crossing opens up on the material plane in a hamlet called Loch Winnis. People come to that crossing just to celebrate the opening of the crossing. It's magical. It's a doorway and there's a festival to be enjoyed. For others, they are actually invited by Lady Zohana to come to a ball, effectively. A satyr called Feifel brings invitations to the players from his friend Eliphas, who is the husband of Lady Zohana. Eliphas is concerned that a necklace is changing her attitudes. There's a large diamond in this necklace called the Shard Solitaire, and the adventurers will be rewarded for removing it from the entire area. Now you or the players debating could decide on the rewards at hand here, or you could use the written options. Feifel has background about the shard and its creation involving an explosive portal to the astral plane caused by dropping a Heward's handy haversack into a bag of holding. Those don't mix. Sorry about my red lights, often playing up. Zohana stole the shard from a coven of witches when she was an adventurer. The hag coven is called the Crestfall Coven. Back to the necklace. If it is removed from her neck, it magically teleports to a vault in Paliset Hall somewhere. Apparently in Zohana's chamber. So that's ultimately where they must take it from. Feifel thinks it's simply in a vault, but there's a bit more to it than that. He gives the invitations to the party members, and they all travel to Loch Winnis and arrive just as the sun sets on the day of the winter solstice. If the players ask Feifel to draw a map, he will, otherwise don't give them one. Feifel may offer a few points of interest around a loch for them to check out. There's an inn called Auberge Aurora, and it's run by Ray, the local sheriff elf. There's Cause Cloths, which is a tailor's, owned by a bugbear, and since formal attire has been asked for, this is where they can get suit fittings, etc. Then there's the wharf itself over the icy lake where the crossing will appear underwater. Eventually, Feifel will bid them farewell and say, I'll wait at the inn here, report back when you're done, I'll give you your reward. And then, after sundown, 2 winter wolves appear at the end of the dock. I prefer the thought of them bursting out of the ice-covered lake. These wolves will check the invites of all the guests and have the guests jump into the lake itself, which is described as now being not cold or wet. Now let's just stop a minute. The Feywild is a place of dizzying madness. Imagine turning up your colours on your TV full. Everything shines differently. If you've played Wild Beyond the Witchlight in the Feywild, you'll know what I mean. The Feywild has rules of its own. There's the rule of hospitality, rule of ownership and rule of reciprocity, and all the Feywildians obey these rules on the whole. Hospitality. When a friend, an enemy or a stranger enters your home, you are expected to be gracious and accommodating to them until such time as they prove by their words or actions undeserving of such hospitality. You can wander in and out of anywhere. The rule of ownership. You must not steal from a friend, an enemy or a stranger. To take something that doesn't belong to you without their permission is a crime and an unforgettable breach of etiquette. The rule of reciprocity. When a friend, an enemy or a stranger offers you a gift, you are obliged to accept it and offer something of comparable value in return that you can return later. Also, the environment of the Feywild echoes and changes to people's moods. People in a bad mood or arguing, black clouds will appear, flowers will wilt. So that's something to really go with the lore of the land. We do have this table and Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Jaunty music plays throughout the hall, except for in the basement. As they move from room to room, describe a circular window turning square or something morph, some weirdness, then they sort of look again and it's back to normal. The magic is messing with the location of this building. Okay, now to the final DM puzzle piece. Basically, an unknown far realm entity found itself inside the diamond's rift and then managed to swap place because the rift was touching her, the necklace was touching Lady Zohana. So it's kind of a doppelganger situation, which means it's a heist and a rescue mission, as the simulacrum, the copy, is the one greeting guests. The fake one from now on we'll call Lady Z. So Lady Z can be found in various locations and there is a table. But hold her off a bit and introduce her maybe with an announcement by a member of staff. May I announce the arrival of your loyal host, Lady Zohana Adulaire. And from that point it's fair game to go up, yoink the necklace, making it teleport to this secret vault. Maybe this is a time you can split the party. Discover the vault first, wait there, have someone go and rip off the necklace, have a fight while the thing teleports over to them, they clasp it. But remember that Lord Eliphas is the one ordering this mission. He's on your side and he's secretly a werebear. Right, now it's time to go room by room. 1. They arrive in a fountain in front of 4 winter wolves, with 2 that came through from the material plane behind. All the main staff and owners know a rhyme to unlock the crossing from this side. You can literally make up your own or just do a passphrase or word, but the book says, neither gleaming sword nor magic tome can soothe the soul like hearth and home. Guests also arrive from the Feywild, so describe fantastical scenes of animal folk, a bit like Narnia. They arrive in coaches pulled by unicorns, fly in on fantastical beasts, whatever you decide. It's all fairy tale nonsense. As an aside here, trinkets are the form of currency. Money is of little worth here. They value weird stuff like the last crumbs off your plate or your sense of smell. They'll literally stop you smelling as a gift that you can pay them in. That could be fun times, right? Area 2. Use the noble NPC table to populate the entrance and further into this hall. There are 6 ice sculptures who are actually ice mephits should a fight break out. Area 3 is where you leave your coat. And the head of staff is here, Oren, who doesn't know where Lady Z is and might let you know that Eliphas is having quarter of an hour in a guest's room because he doesn't feel so well. Area 4 is a ballroom overlooked by a balcony with more ice sculptures around who are mephits. They can interact here as you decide with NPCs. Some of those NPCs are hags, so we'll get to that at the end. A Christmas tree stands in Area 5, a room where sofas allow people to relax and chat and drink. Area 6 is an art gallery. It has a portrait which basically has a snowflake on it that you can press, opening a doorway down to the basement. But in this room are 4 magical items on display, with other artsy stuff, including a statuette of the Prince of Frost, who is actually Lady Zohana's ex. Area 7, the banquet hall. 2 long tables full of food and refreshments where 2 sprites, Sissy and Val, invite PCs to try the food. It is not poisoned. In the Feywild, food is abundant. You don't need rations. Edible things just pop up when you're hungry. So in Area 8 is a kitchen. There are 2 satyrs and 3 pixies getting orders barked at them by a dryad head chef called Anisetta. Have them notice a key hanging off her belt. These open the storage closets downstairs in the basement. Anisetta will not stand for guests in her kitchen. There's a stairway to the cellar at the back of the kitchen. 9, the balcony, looking down on the ballroom and potentially some unusual guests. Use the roll table, make up your own, have some fun. Area 10 is a main bedroom with a picture of a reindeer on the back wall. It animates. This is Oak, a chatty personal assistant to Zohana and Eliphas, although more recently ignored. He'll say Eliphas has been sleeping in a guest room. Relationships are maybe a bit strained at the moment. Lady Z doesn't sleep anymore. She doesn't check in with Oak anymore either. Then it might let slip that Lady Z took the necklace from the pool and hasn't taken it off since. Ooh, I've revealed the location of the vault. So it then clams up. If they present their weapons to the portrait in order to slash it or something, the reindeer will say, the vault is hidden in the tower pool bathroom over there, which is Area 11. The bathroom has a 10-foot statue of a reindeer, which uses the stone golem stats. A reindeer which then uses slow first, and then attacks them when they're slowed. There's also a potion of greater healing to be found here. Area 12. This tower has a pool with water in the bottom, and through that there's a mosaic of 3 concentrically joined rings. The water deals 4d6 cold damage should you enter, on a failed con save of 17. On the wall is an elvish rune, which is like a sign for winter. All that does is you press it and the water will empty, causing the concentric circles to suddenly have alphabets on, which can be turned to enter a 3-letter word, which should spell oak when they move it correctly, which then will open a small vault, which is empty unless you've snatched the necklace. Then the necklace will be in this vault. 13 is just a vanity, with clothes and wigs and enough things to disguise yourself with. 14 is Eliphas in human form. He will allow the players to rest here. He'll tell them that he's sure his wife is actually a copy made by the Shard. He remembers his wife saying some sort of possibility that it can do that. The vault is under the pool, through her bedroom, and is passworded and guarded by a statue. Also, I've seen the building warping at the hands of strange magic. Maybe that's my wife calling out to me in some way. I don't think she's too far. 15 is a guest bathroom with a cracked mirror after an argument. 16, a private study, which is arcane locked. Zohanna's spellbook is amongst the books that you can find if you search for 1 hour. There's also a crystal ball used for the scrying spell. And this is a nice touch. There's a tinkerer's tool set and a half-constructed music box, which the Golden Vault use to send the missions if you are using that. That's pretty cool. If not, still a nice callback. 17, just a dresser and a mirror to get ready in front of. 18, in this cellar is the expected crates, casks, boxes, etc. and 2 doors either side of a passageway further in. One of the doors glows from underneath with a weird light. Both doors are locked, if I didn't mention that. The light is caused, once inside, by a shimmering scar hanging in the air. This will teleport them to Area 20. But first, Area 19, it's just where the servants live and stay. You can dot some trinkets around here, maybe, off tables. So Area 20 then. Wow. This extra-dimensional space splits the party in 2 onto 2 islands. Maybe have melee group and spellcasters on different islands. Whatever, that was just a thought. They'll see the real Zohanna, who will treat the party as if these are her captors in physical form, finally. She will blast them with cone of cold and lightning bolts until someone gets in melee range, which she'll shocking grasp them. It takes 3 successful persuasion checks to convince her that these are rescuers and not part of the entity from the Far Realm. You need to roleplay her confused, starting to be convinced that the players are good guys. Presenting her the spellbook that she owns will be one way to snap her out of it. Now there's 2d6 psychic damage to be dealt from the Far Realm energy every so often. 3 invisible stalkers are manifested by the energy to wipe everybody out. You can't just teleport out of here at will, but the plane shift spell would work. But on top of all this are the 3 hags who the shard was stolen from. They've been tracking it down to this gala too and have disguised themselves as guests, managed somehow to fake pass their way in. Hopefully, the party has interacted with at least one of these hag NPC fakers. The shard must eventually crack open as the Far Realm energy breaks out and goes to the Far Realm. So the clone Lady Z disappears. Everybody from inside this extra planar rift bamfs back into the Paliset Hall somewhere, whereupon the 3 hags show their true form. It's an entire coven of witches against the party, Eliphas and Lady Zohanna. Then wrap it up how you like.